Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Cisco Bistro the Barber, coming again with another haircut tutorial. I'm gonna cut my client's hair with a 1.5 with the grain to get it down to wavelength and do a medium taper. But before I do any of that, I'm gonna get my number 2 clip. I'm gonna go with the grain to get the bulk out the way. You never know which direction your client's hair grows, so you want to be careful with that. Once you have it all down with the number 2, more likely than not, now you can see what direction your client's hair grows after I use my 1.5 with the grain to get it to my desired length. I'm using my Oster Professional Octane cordless clipper with a 5-0 to create this guideline. Then I use my Babyliss Pro Shaver to give it an extra clean look. I'm deleting that guideline that I created with my shaver with my 5 zeros. With my adjusted 5-star waltz clipper, I start from the 0 and then I work my way up with the lever as I start to move up on the taper, step by step, working my way up to the half. Pay attention how I'm using the corner of my clippers. I'm following the guideline as I start to move up the taper, raising my lever to create that fade effect. Now I'm with my half clip, following the guideline as I start to move up the lever to create more of that fade effect and continue with the process to create this medium taper. As you can see, the way I'm doing this taper, I'm using my corners a whole lot. I'm trying to create that smooth transition and get rid of those dark spots as I start to move my way up the taper. Remember to stay patient, learn how to identify those dark spots, learn how to blend them out without taking the taper too high. That is the key to everything to create that medium taper. Now I'm with my number 1 clip, attacking the next guideline that I created. As I start to move up the taper, I'm just trying to blend everything out, not taking the fade too high as I start to move my lever up. As you can see, I'm moving a little bit now to the left side, just trying to create that smooth blend and hopefully get a nice transition as I go up. I'm using my brush to brush down the hair so I have an easier time seeing what I'm doing. You always have to have a clear area so you don't get confused and see dark spots that are not there. I'm stretching out the skin to get into some of these dark areas. It helps me concentrate on some of the dark spots that I want to blend out the most. I'm using my 1.5 clip all the way closed, and I'm starting from the corner and moving to the right as I start to see the dark spots go away. I'm using my number 1 clip with the grain to make the taper blend out smoother as I continue with my process. With my number 1 clip, as you guys can see, I'm still doing some cleanup work. There's still some dark spots that I need to take care of. These type of tapers might seem easy, but they require a lot of detail. Now when it comes to the details, to me, that's what gets you booked up. That's what gets you your clientele. Now we're going to move on to the nape, and I'm going to create my guideline with my 5-star Oster blade. I'm trying to create the guideline as straight as possible. It's cleaner and it helps me with my steps as I start to blend up to the taper. I'm moving on to my Walls 5-star adjusted clippers. I'm starting out from the 0 and I'm going to start to blend out the guideline that I previously created. As I start to blend out the guidelines, I'm moving up my lever step by step until I move up to the half. Now I know you guys know what I'm talking about, so let's speed up the process. Now when you're blending these guidelines out, you want to make sure that you do it pretty clean. Now don't be in a hurry, but have a solid pace. You don't want to have your client sitting on the chair forever. So just follow your steps, go at a good pace, and focus on what you're doing. So now pretty much right here I have my lever all the way open to the half. And with that being said, now I'm going to go ahead and grab my half clip, start the same process all the way from the beginning with the lever closed and work my way up. I'm brushing the hair down so I can continue to fade it more properly. Sometimes when you're fading up, the hair might go up in the opposite direction, so you just have to brush it back down and continue the blending. Continue the process until you feel comfortable enough to say, that looks fresh. Alright guys, so right here I'm just getting some of the last details that I could get with my half clip. I'm going for those dark spots that I see that I left behind, and I'm getting ready for my number 1 clip. Now I'm with my number 1 clip, and I'm gonna blend out the next guideline, go step by step, opening up my lever as I go up to the 1.5. As you can see, I'm going for those dark spots as I continue to lift my lever you see some of those dark spots start to disappear. As you guys can see, I'm stretching out the skin where the occipital bone is. I'm trying my best to get these dark spots blended out. So whatever you have to do to make it happen, just do it and let's carry on. Alright, now moving on with my number 1.5 clip. I'm taking out the guideline that I could visibly see with my eyes. As you can see, those dark spots are starting to go away. So make sure that everything's clean, everything's smooth, and let's move on to the next side. Now we're moving on to the right side, and I'm using my 5-0 Oster blade. You guys can see in what angle I'm doing my guideline. Now I'm using my bevel-less shaver. I'm trying to get it as bald as I could get it, so I could go again with my 5-0 Oster blade and just blend out the guideline that I just created with the shaver.
JP Production.
Pay attention how I'm using my corners. That's how I'm doing my blending. Now I'm moving on with my 5-star adjusted walls clipper, and I'm starting all the way from the 0 and I'm going up to the half, again using my corners as I previously did on the left side. As you guys can see, I'm always protecting the ear. Now this machine's blade is adjusted, so you have to be careful. You don't want to end up cutting your client on the ear. If you do it, you could kiss that tip goodbye, or maybe you end up giving a free haircut. So now we're moving on to the half clip, and as you guys can see, I'm still using my corners, following the guideline that I previously created. Now let's speed up the process and let's go to the number 1 clip. Alright guys, now I'm here with my number 1 clip with the lever all the way closed. And as you guys can see, I'm going for those dark spots once again, using my corners. Of course, trying not to take the taper too high, because at the end of the day, this is a medium taper. So let's move on to the 1.5. Whoa, what is going on here? Now if you guys don't have these type of things going on in your barbershop, you ain't living, baby. Now let's get back to business. I'm here with my 1.5 clip. Now as you guys can see, I'm getting that next dark spot that I see there available to me, and with my number 1 clip all the way closed, I'm using it to go with the grain around the ears so I could eliminate some of those little hairs that stand up, so I could get a crispier line when I use my trimmers. Now when you're doing the lineup in the back, just be careful. Treat it with the same care as you would when you do the front part. You don't want to be going too far in. I notice a lot of times when barbers are starting up, they leave a little bulkiness right there in that ear area. That's the reason why I use my one with the grain, just to take some of that bulkiness out the way. Then I brush down the hair, go again with my trimmers, and try to get the line as crispy as I can, making sure that I don't go too far up. See, these are the tips that normally you don't see on barber tutorials. Some of the things that we kind of skip past by, we just kind of want to get from one place to another. This is a little bit different. I'm going to try to teach you guys some skills that I learned throughout the years. I've been cutting for a long time, so hopefully you guys can learn something from this video today. I always try to do the lineups as natural as possible. I don't know if you guys noticed by now, but I like to take my time and I do one side at a time. So I'll try to do like the right side first, and then I go move to the left side. If this works for you, then it works for you. If you can find something different that works better for you, then I always go based off of that. You know, I never try to make anybody cut like me. If you can learn something that you didn't know before, that's dope. Even if it's just one little detail, and if you apply it to every haircut, maybe that could be the difference to make your haircuts really stand out. As you guys can see, I'm following his natural hairline. I'm not trying to push it too far back. I'm just trying to make it look as natural as I can, because of course we all know that the lineup is, if not the most important part of the haircut. Yes, the fade definitely has to be clean. I'm not saying it doesn't, but if the fade is not paired with the crisp and straight lineup, it's just not gonna look good. Now if you guys were paying attention, you guys seen that I started the lineup from the center and then I was moving to the left side. Now I'm gonna do the same thing and I'm gonna move to the right side. I noticed that sometimes I find myself being too close, like my vision is solely concentrating on a certain spot, but sometimes I catch myself and I have to step back maybe about a foot away. With that angle, I believe you can see more clear. So with that being said, you guys can try it out. Maybe it can help you out. It helps me out. So I'm shooting you guys the game. And as you can see, it just helped me out right now. Now I'm with my straight razor. I'm stretching the skin so I can get as close as I can to where I use my trimmers. I believe this is where I shine the most. When I'm doing these type of lineups, I like to take my time. I'm really patient when it comes to these type of haircuts. This process on its own takes me about a good 4 to 5 minutes. I brush down, I try to get every little strand of hair that I can. That way when my client goes home and he brushes his hair, throws on the wave cap, anything that I do, I don't want that lineup looking any different than how I left it. I always hear those type of comments, you know, from other people, from other clients, like, hey man, so and so cut my hair and you know I had to go home and fix it, he left this, he left that. You know, I'm not perfect at all, but I pride myself in what I do, so I'm gonna do the best that I can at all times. I'm moving on to my white pencil. This is just an outline that I'm doing to the lineup. It makes the haircut stand out more. It extends the quality of the haircut. Now, if your client doesn't like enhancements, that's their choice. But as for me, even when I go out, I use some on my own. I don't know how anybody feels about it. I honestly don't care. It looks good. It makes the lineup stand out. Now we have enhancements to the point where like they don't wash off. Whether you're at the club, at the gym, you be okay. You could be at the dance floor and you don't have to worry that you're gonna dance your lineup away. You know, so you'll be okay. And as you guys can see, I'm using my trimmers to go over the white line that I created with my pencil. I'm just blending it out to make it look as natural as I could get it, but also give it that crisp look that I'm looking for. When I'm touching this lineup up, I'm not trying to get any of the hair at all. I'm just going for the white pencil. So all I'm trying to do is just blend that pencil out the way, and of course I'm brushing it down. So you're gonna see that pencil line start to go away, and of course you're gonna see that lineup stand out a lot more. It looks like it's a long process, guys, but honestly, like I said before, pick the moments where you could kind of push the pace a little bit. But when it comes to things like the lineup, this is the time where you need to be patient, take your time, and see exactly what you're doing, because one little bad move and you could push the lineup farther than you need to. Now I'm using my cordless compressor. I'm using the Tom 45 no drip Onyx Black enhancement. I get pretty good feedback from my clients with this enhancement. I haven't tried anything else, but I'm open for it. So if you guys have any suggestions for me, I'm more than welcome to hear them. Some people like to do the white pencil after the paint enhancement. I feel that when you use the white pencil at the end, sometimes you risk just smearing some of that white pencil into the black paint. And to me, when that happens, it makes me feel like I'm doing a sloppy work. So maybe some other barbers find a way to get around that. But like I said, you don't have to do it how I do it. Figure your own way out. I'm just giving you an idea of how I do it. And like I said, if I can help you out with a little something, by all means, use it, apply it to yourself, and hopefully it makes you better. Now moving on to the last details of the haircut. I'm finishing off with some of the details at the end. I'm gonna add some of that enhancement to the lineup in the back. Then we're gonna move on, add some product to his hair, making sure that when my client gets off my chair, he feels relaxed, confident, and sure that I did a great job. Alright, now let's see how my guy was looking when he walked in. He said he wanted to go back to wavelength. Hopefully he's pleased with my work. Now without further ado, let's check it out. Now guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys learned anything at all, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram at @CiscoBistro_barber. Thank you for watching. Till the next time.